Crystal?
I'm ready now. Go.
Are you on? Okay. We can crack that part out.
You know how easy I am. You know how funny this is gonna be right now. It's gonna be great.
All right, so you can't see this from here, but Wes just walked her down the aisle. And I'm going to just go ahead and you can stay with him for a minute. Don't go anywhere. Because I'm going to go ahead and make this official. Who gives this woman to be married to this man?
Her family and I.
There you go. Thanks, Wes. Kelly, let's just stand right here for a minute. Make sure, Wes, can you see we have them in the shot. For those of you watching the video, we are making sure that that Susie can see everything. Is she good?
Are you good, Mamo?
Can you see everything?
I can now. I can hear you. I couldn't hear you before.
Oh, you muted.
You're muting. Yeah, turn your volume down, but don't. There you go. All right.
Okay, there you go.
Now, can you hear us still? Give me a thumbs up. Perfect. Here we go. Before we do anything,
Yes.
let's just breathe. I've never done it like this either. So, you know what, Kelly, though, to be honest with you, I don't know you as well, but weird follows you. It just does. And so it almost is fitting that if anybody's going to get married in the most unusual circumstances ever, that it'd be you. And I just want you to know, even though I'm not going to do this right now, everything in me wants to hug you and tell you how much I love you. It's been a heck of a journey getting you guys to this point. You both, your life has had ups and downs and all kinds of other stuff, but we're here now. We're here together, and we're here in a building that honestly means so much to all of us. This is not just a place that you kind of found your way back into your relationship with Christ, but this is a building that we've done some stuff in together. This is a building that brought so much of your family together, and it's the building that got us together.
That's right.
And so it's a special place. And man, getting to bring you into all this, first of all, you're good. You know what you're signing up for.
Oh, yes.
Okay, I'm just making sure.
Oh, yeah.
Because you're getting into one of the greatest but most bizarre families that has ever existed. And like the matriarch is right there. And so, listen, I don't know you as well, Brian. I'm excited to get to, but what I do know of you, and this is the measure of a person to me, it's not what they say about themselves. It's what so many other people say about them. And I've heard great things about your character, about who you are, and that's what makes me happy to be able to do this. So I want to jump into this. Even though we're here, just us, we're going to do this for real. This is a great place to have some reminders. And so in every wedding that I do, we try to go through some reminders. And it's never been easier in our world to fall in love, and it's never been harder in our world to stay in love. And there are couples after couples after couples that stand right here, stare at each other and say, I love you forever. And then 3 years, 5 years, 7 years later, they hate that person. And we don't want that for you. And that's why the right foundation matters, because we want you guys to be able to stick together. 1 Corinthians 7:28 says, those who marry will have trouble in this life. Isn't that a great verse to start a wedding off with, right? Those who marry are going to have trouble in this life. It's not a great verse for a coffee mug. Not a whole lot of couples get one. Nobody's getting it done, stitched on a pillow. But if you're going, man, this seems hard, then you are 100% biblical, baby. I mean, like that is, you are right where you should be. It is a challenge. If you want a trouble-free life, don't get married. There's only two options for marriages. There are healthy, imperfect marriages, and there are unhealthy, imperfect marriages. It's going to be work. It's going to be hard, but it'll be absolutely rewarding. It'll be worth it. And so there's going to be times when you're going to get hurt by each other, when you're going to misunderstand. There's going to be time when you get on each other's nerves. But there is also going to be a whole lot of beauty, and that's what's beautiful about marriage is really in the end, it's the gospel mission. And so the Bible tells us a lot of ways to interact with each other, and there's 59 what we call one another statements in the Bible, and they apply to how we deal with everybody, but I think it's really cool to remember them in marriage. That Bible says we love one another, be at peace with one another, greet one another with a holy kiss. You guys can work on that one later, all right? Bear with one another, serve one another, submit to one another, wash one another's feet. Like there's so many one another's. The Bible is going to focus us. And so the focus of marriage is God shaping you together into his character. He wants you to look more like him. He wants you to do that individually, and he wants you to do that together. That's what marriage is.
Amen.
And so that's why I love the idea of biblical love. Worldly love is weird. It's based on emotions, but biblical love is not. Biblical love is not a feeling. Biblical love is a series of choices where we make a choice to grow together and deeper together and closer to God. 1 Corinthians 13, we read this at weddings all the time. Paul wasn't writing about weddings when he wrote this passage. He was defining what perfect love looks like. And he said that it is patient, it is kind, it is not envy, it is not boast, it is not proud or rude, it is not self-seeking, it is not easily angered, there's no record of wrongs, it protects, trusts, hopes, perseveres, love never fails. The word there, and we've heard this word, most of us that grew up in church, is the word agape. And I love that word because agape means it's an act of the will. In other words, what he's saying is agape chooses to stay. That's what love is in the Bible. It's a choice. And so if falling in love and if being in love is a choice, then staying in love is a choice. And so I want to challenge you guys to always do the things you need to do, to make the choices you need to make to stay in love. The great thing from us is that while you two have to work on it, for God, it's a promise. Like he promises that love to us. For spouses, it's a goal, right? Like we're going to work. Some days you're going to be better at it than others, and we know that, okay? But Ephesians 5, 1-2 says, be imitators of God as dearly beloved children and walk in love as Christ loved us and gave himself for us. So the Bible tells us to love like God. And God's love always says, you're the priority. That's marriage. Marriage is you standing here going, you're the priority. And you standing here going, you're the priority. That's what marriage is. Love is not one-sided. Marriage is not one-sided. Love and marriage are putting the needs of somebody else above your own. And what's great about that is it's just a picture of the gospel. The whole act of the cross was God going, you didn't earn it, didn't deserve it, you didn't do anything for it, but I'm going to put you above myself, and I'm going to lay my life down for you. And marriage is supposed to be a picture of that to the world. And so I just want to challenge you. There's this passage in Song of Solomon I'm not going to read right now, but it basically is going to say that love is intended to have life come from it. You bring life into it, and life is created from it. And so I think one of the ways we do that in marriage is it happens in our actions. How we treat each other produces something that's either life-giving or destructive. How we speak produces something that's either life-giving or destructive. When we're vulnerable, when we're transparent, when we're responsible, here's the way I sum those things up, okay? No masks, no walls, no excuses. And that's what we want for you guys. No masks, no walls, no excuses. One of my favorite marital verses is in Genesis when it says Adam and Eve were naked and unashamed. Man, I say this at a lot of marriages, a lot of weddings, but man, constant nudity is a great way to approach marriage. And here's what I mean by that. I think it's great if you're going to be intimate. That's great. But what I really mean is that we're not hiding anything from each other. There's no mask. There's no wall. And it's not us looking at each other and somehow ignorantly going, oh, you're perfect or you're perfect. It's you going, no, you're flawed and I love you anyway. That's what Jesus does for us. You're flawed, but I love you anyway. And so bring life to it. And then I just say this, and I think tonight's a perfect example of this, is agape, the kind of love that stays, it has to survive some storms. Now listen, you guys have had storms today, on the way here, yesterday, the day before. It's been one storm after another. And in every way for you guys, you go, this makes me angry. For me, it makes me excited for you. And the reason I say that is because if you start off having to weather storms together, how good are you going to get at it? You're going to get real good at it. Because even right now, you're having to fight to be here. Even right now, you're like, there's a million reasons to just say, let's don't do this. Let's just cancel, postpone, do whatever. And you probably had a million of those thoughts today. That makes you, by the way, can I just tell you, all that makes you is human. It's been hard. Our world looks crazy right now. And in the middle of that chaos, think about how cool this is. Think about the picture of the gospel for a minute. In the middle of that mess, love still finds a way. In the middle of all the turmoil and struggle, love finds a way. And so right now, in the middle of this world of chaos, you guys are here. Going, you know what? Despite how we feel, we're not going to let our feelings drive this. We're going to make a choice that we're going to do this because love stays. And that's what excites me. I'm almost done. I'm just kind of going off notes at this point. I'm just excited for you guys. I love this verse out of Song of Solomon 8, chapter 8, verse 7. It says, love is as strong as death and as jealous as the grave. And the only way you can get to that kind of love is through the person of Jesus Christ. He says, you can't kill it by even putting it in the grave. Our love is stronger than that. And so what I want to end by saying is this, and then we'll have Wes come up and wrap this up. What kept Jesus on the cross was his vision of you and what you could become. What kept Jesus on the cross was his vision of your marriage and what it can become and how it can bless the world. The biggest thing that I always tell people is that marriage was never intended to be a place where all your needs are met. That's all done through Jesus Christ. And the Bible says, unless the Lord builds the house, the laborers labor in vain. And so Jesus makes it work. But what you get to do now is lock arms together and run into a mission to do something great for Jesus. Now, I will shut up, and I'm going to have Wes come up here. I want to say this before I walk out, is that I love you both.
Well, we're about to break all sorts of coronavirus rules right here, okay? So if y'all want to like grab hands and just look at each other, I don't want you to look at me during this part. I want you to look at each other. So Brian, you're going to be first, okay?
Okay.
So if you'll just repeat after me, and if you need me to say it again, just tell me, okay? So I, Brian, take you, Kelly,
I, Brian, take you, Kelly,
to be my wife.
to be my wife.
In sickness, I will comfort you.
In sickness, I will comfort you.
In trouble, I will encourage you.
In trouble, I will encourage you.
In sadness, I will hold you.
In sadness, I will hold you.
In happiness, I will make memories with you.
In happiness, I will make memories with you.
In poverty, I will make our love rich.
In poverty, I will make our love rich.
In wealth, our love will never be poor.
In wealth, our love will never be poor.
I promise to spend the rest of my life
I promise to spend the rest of my life
loving you for the rest of yours.
loving you for the rest of yours.
I promise to be on mission with you
I promise to be on mission with you
every day of our life together
every day of our life together
to show the world the love of Jesus.
to show the world the love of Jesus.
I love you.
I love you.
Brian, do you take Kelly to be your wife?
I do.
All right, Kelly, it's your turn. I, Kelly, take you, Brian,
I, Kelly, take you, Brian,
to be my husband.
to be my husband.
In sickness, I will comfort you.
In sickness, I will comfort you.
In trouble, I will encourage you.
In trouble, I will encourage you.
In sadness, I will hold you.
In sadness, I will hold you.
In happiness, I will make memories with you.
In happiness, I will make memories with you.
In poverty, I will make our love rich.
In poverty, I will make our love rich.
In wealth, our love will never be poor.
In wealth, our love will never be poor.
I promise to spend the rest of my life
I promise to spend the rest of my life
loving you for the rest of yours.
loving you for the rest of yours.
I promise to be on mission with you
I promise to be on mission with you
every day of our life together
every day of our life together
to show the world the love of Jesus.
to show the world the love of Jesus.
I love you.
I love you.
Kelly, do you take Brian to be your husband?
I do.
Well, before we do the rings, go ahead.
Let me say this real quick.
Yep.
One thing that we want, that I think is so cool, especially as you go into the rings and we're about to listen to this song, one of the things that is so great to remember, and I didn't want to miss this moment, is the models that the two of you follow. You have your parents and your mother that has meant so much to you guys, that has given you an example and an encouragement of what it looks like to try to walk through this life and honor Jesus. And I just hope that as you look at down the road, that you consistently remember these incredible people who not only paved the way for you to be here, but modeled relationship that you want to have with your Creator and with other people. And so I just didn't want to miss that before we get too far, because it's so great to be able to honor those people and to have them in our lives, and we're grateful for them.
Well, I know you guys wanted the first moment of as a married couple to pray together. So if y'all pray together, we're going to pray for you, and then we're going to listen to the song.
Jesus, you brought heaven down. My sin was great, your love was greater. What could separate us now? What a wonderful day it is. What a wonderful day it is. The name of Jesus Christ, my King. What a wonderful day it is, and nothing compares to this. What a wonderful day it is, the name of Jesus. What a wonderful day it is, the name of Jesus.
I love to
Kelly's
sing
gonna
your
sing.
name,
Yeah.
Lord. Y'all don't want to hear
Kelly's
me
gonna sing
sing.
for
You
us.
might want to turn that back off.
All right, so tonight you both have brought rings as a symbol of your love for each other and as a commitment to one another. So, Brian, if you'll put the ring on Kelly's finger. It's fine.
You should know.
Yeah, no, I don't remember. It's not a big deal. If you'll repeat after me. I give you this ring
I give you this ring,
as a symbol of our promise
symbol of our promise
to God and to each other.
to God and to each other.
This ring reminds me of our love,
This ring reminds me of
our love for others,
our love for others,
and the mission God has called us to.
and the mission God has called us to.
All right, Kelly, if you will place the ring on Brian's finger. And by the way, that's not gum, which is what I thought it was before this started.
It's a really cool ring, too.
If you'll repeat after me, I give you this ring
I give you this ring
as a symbol of our promise
as a symbol of our promise
to God and to each other.
to God and to each other.
This ring reminds me
This ring reminds me
of our love
our love
for others,
for others,
and the mission God has called us to.
and the mission that God has called us to.
Well, you ready?
Can you
Okay.
pronounce this as Mr. and Mrs. Bob Vance?
No. But under the authority of our Lord Jesus Christ and the great state of Texas, it is my honor to pronounce you husband and wife. And now, Brian, you may kiss my aunt. No, you may kiss the bride.
Woohoo! Yeah!
Yeah. So for the first time,
It!
let's celebrate together Mr. and Mrs. Brian Cochrane.
Woo!